Beans! Hello and welcome to this episode of Star Trek Reliant. I thank you all for joining me today on this very special day where we are doing a bottle episode. Yay! Tonight we have our Chief Security Officer, we need to promote him sometime. Our Security Officer, Chorog.
Hello everybody, I'm ready to party.
We have our bartender and chaplain of our All Faiths Chapel, Grumpy Old Lord playing Grimnir, Whately, and other characters.
Greetings and salutations. Fun shall now commence.
Con Officer Kara Junrani. I almost said Kara Officer.
Existence is pain. Anyone who tells you otherwise is selling something.
You've got our Chief Medical Officer and Executive Officer, Eli O'Connor.
That's me. It's me. And what do you mean you don't like bottle episodes? It's just spinning around in 10 minutes until it eventually crashes on the hull.
And then some tardigrades try to suck up the illicit space booze. And we've got our Chief Engineer, Rick Tier.
Greetings. The state of the Reliant is in a good state. Thumbs up.
Alrighty then. So, the USS Reliant has been basically freed of any responsibility to attend the Ikven world in or around Ibby space. We are now back to our regularly scheduled duties, which now include a supply run to Risa. We've got some additional terraforming supplies, provisions, trade goods, stuff like that, and, well, the Reliant's being used as a bit of a cargo ship at the moment. Graves is a bit thankful just for getting back to routine, even though, well, for the moment, he's got to be working his way up a little bit after calling a good chunk of the fleet to a situation that did not require a good chunk of the fleet. So, we just cut around to the ship, just seeing various crew members, more or less having some off time. As duty shifts are light, this is a very well-explored region of Federation space, so there's really not a whole lot to do except for a few junior science officers and junior engineers to see to regular duties and such like. So, before we get started with anything I've got in mind, I'll just open the floor to whatever the crew is doing.
Within the engineering crew, those people that might be frequent or infrequent visitors might notice that that there's a bit of an terrarium run that has been finally set up over the time. Finished up just as we started leaving, and sections of these clear, solid tube connect these terraria all over. One is more like a desert setting. One has a little bit of a water trickle running down, a little bit of a river kind of situation situated. All these different kind of mini biomes created and represented in these terrariums. And Rick Tier is just sort of looking over this sort of sprawling thing that sort of loops around the warp core. And he looks down and pats little LJ as he finally puts LJ into the little terrarium. And then goes off to make a brief announcement to the engineering team that LJ is in there and that please keep an eye on him throughout, just to make sure that things are working well within the terrarium. And he is going off shift for a bit of a drink at 10 forward.
Up and 10 forward. Well, I mean, it's a little bustling right now, just with the fact that a lot of the crew has off time. Setsujigoro is talking with Grimnir over at the bar, while John is playing a pinball machine that's been installed in Club 42.
A lone tumbleweed drifts by.
Mary sitting in the back, sipping on her drink, just kind of watching everything, eavesdropping on everybody's conversation, doing her Mary thing. And then she sees the tumbleweed. She immediately pulls out her phaser, double checks that it's unstunned, and zaps it. Got it. Carry on. Nothing to see here.
John looks over and calls,
Sorry, I accidentally let those loose from the science lab. I thought they wanted to play.
Setsa just takes a long look at John as John returns to his pinball game. While across the ship there are more tumbleweeds mysteriously blowing across.
One of them is just blowing through engineering right now, just sort of like not being noticed.
The ship has become infested with a unique species of alien tumbleweed that it's capable of independent locomotion. And another one gently rolls by.
When John makes the comment about, they're getting loose, Mary gets this wicked grin on her face and says, "Wait, there's more?" And she bolts up and goes running out to go chase them all down. Phaser in hand.
I'm going to have you make a roll to, just on a general point of finding tumbleweeds, to see if you, over the course of the episode, you can get them all.
You want Mary to roll. Okay. Did I ever make a sheet for Mary?
Not sure, but just plausible numbers for...
Hold on, because I think I actually did make a character sheet for Mary, but I don't remember.
I mean, it's going to be in the drive, so
That's what I'm checking right now. Did I make a character sheet for Mary? Oh, I did.
Yeah, you did.
There it is.
All right, give me an insight security roll.
Let's see.
Meanwhile, while this is going on, there's a scientist, a botanist, screaming, "It's not a tumbleweed, it's Russian thistle. Be correct."
One success.
One success. So you're able to, basically, you haven't gotten completely lost, but you've been able to track down an additional tumbleweed at this point.
I will find them all. She accesses a security panel and grabs another phaser, so now she's dual wielding. Very, very, very stern look of determination on her face as she starts, and she strips her uniform down to where she's just wearing the Janeway tank top, and she's dual wielding the phaser. Actually, no. At one point, she ditches the hand phasers and goes to dual wielding phaser rifles, and she's just stalking the ship and the Janeway tank top. I will find them all.
Oh, and on that point, a tumbleweed. Actually, I'll let Rick handle that one. But yeah, so the crew is on that point of variously hanging about. Gonna start something. I just want to make sure that folks good to go. Okay. So Setsa is talking with Grimnir over the bar top and says,
I know what you're saying, but I mean, I also feel like as kind of the big sister in this whole arrangement, that, well, I should be there and supportive as they get used to, being outside of that facility for the first time in a long time. I mean, Sabatu is, not really had physical contact with people since, when that facility was operational. And, I mean, it's a lot to have her, not be talking to various parts of walls, assuming that they're animate.
Grimnir's nodding and as he's on his little console behind the bar. He's controlling the jukebox, and he puts on Tumbling Tumbleweeds by Sons of the Pioneers as he's watching in the corner of Mary what she's doing, and he's just like, yep, that song needs to play now. And he goes back to paying attention to Setsa, and he grabs the mug and goes back to polishing it like he usually does. And he says, all right, but has it occurred to you that maybe, just maybe, they need a wee bit of space? Like, you said they'd been alone for how long, and you want to suddenly just drop kick them into society like it's nothing? I'm sorry, lass, it don't work like that.
Well, I got dropkicked a little bit. I mean, well, I guess Ross wasn't any better than this than I was when, I was leaving IFAR for the first time. And, when I was at the academy, then, Graves is there too, and kind of just moved, for me, having Ross there all the time, for me, then trying to have Graves there all the time.
And you're fortunate in that you have him. But here's the thing. Your sibling, do they think that they have you? Or are you just another stranger that they don't know?
Well, I'm hoping that, me being there just says, hey, I'm there being, supportive.
And that's all you can do.
And I'm just
There's
worried
an
that
old saying. There's an old saying. You can take a horse to water, but you can't make 'em drink. You try to make 'em drink, you just wind up waterboarding 'em. And I don't think anybody wants that.
No, gotta protect our horsies.
Exactly. Grimnerd makes a little note for my next CV, right, that I graduated from the Christopher Pike School of Psychiatry.
I almost want that to actually be signed by Pike. just make some implications there.
It's just got 2 little lights on it.
Oh.
Okay.
Look, I'm not responsible for that one. Star Trek did it. I'm just running with it.
Indeed. Sets us out.
Alright, well, I guess I'll try to go see if, Graves needs any, encouragement through all this. So, I mean, he's been up, even though, kind of got a little bit of the, short end of the stick when it came to that fleet call. So, yeah, I guess I'll be around him, if not that, Kara.
Grimner nods, gives her a pat on the shoulder, and says, just remember, all you can do is be there. As long as you're there, and she sees, then if she truly, truly wants to come out of her shell, she'll remember who was there and who wasn't. That, or she turns out to be a walking abomination from the furthest depths of oblivion, and we have to put her down. But the odds of that happening are... thinks back on his past track record. It's not 0.
A sec.
Wonderfully encouraging words there from Grimnir.
Sets and nods, takes a sip of her Ibby spring wine. Says,
Well, thanks, Grimnir. I mean, it's helped a lot. It's, good to have someone to talk to like this.
Somewhere deep in the bowels of the ship, Waitley feels the sense of... one might call it jealousy, but it's not that. It's more like missed opportunity at one's purpose.
I mean...
And then he goes back to studying his ancient evil tomes of evil.
So I want to cut real quick to Medbay. Now, a quick question for...
Real quick, is Setsa leaving Club 42?
Not yet.
Okay, never mind then.
So, before we jump to anything else, I do want to quickly jump over to the Medbay. Now, out of curiosity, do we still have the moldy mug of coffee?
No.
Well, I mean, we have the mug, I think, but the moldy coffee was long ago studied and gotten rid of.
So the mug is perfect. So, down in Medbay, Subaru, who we picked up last episode, she is just basically staring at the mug. It's real close, just kind of like hunched over. It's sitting at the edge of a desk, and she's just sort of like peering up over and just watching the mug.
Eli picks up his mug, because he did claim that mug is his mug after it was very much cleaned. Like, yeah, it's got Romulan whiskey.
That's drink, right?
Romulan whiskey? Yeah, well, I mean, it's mixed with coffee, because I hate myself.
Can I have some?
No. It's alcoholic.
She looks a little crestfallen.
It's... ask your sister.
All right. So, like, well, she fidgets a little bit and says, like, you said that, like, there were these, plants up in, like, the medical area or the researchy area that were, like, could move, kind of like the fungus, I was around.
Oh, basically they're like tumbleweeds, yeah. Yeah, what about them?
Well, like, you said they kind of, like, put off, like, these, not spores, but, like, other chemical things, right?
Oh yeah, when they're vaporized, they cause hallucinogenic particles to go through the air.
Okay, well, I was trying to be good and, read security report, or the ship status report, because, I want to make sure that, I'm aware of things if they happen. She looks a little nervous. The idea of being on a starship is relatively new to her. Spotter says, think they may have gotten out? This Mary put out a very short statement. I think, yeah, this means tumbleweed, right?
Wait, what?
She hands the data pad over to Eli.
Eli looks at the data pad. Oh.
Yeah. The tumbleweeds have escaped.
Well, I know Zach over in Xenobio likes to just let them go free sometimes. See what kind of trouble they can get up to. This is...
Sabatu wags her tail. And I go play with them?
Don't hit them with the phaser or burn them, sure.
She smiles, nods, and she kind of looks like she wanted to hug Eli, but kind of restrains herself. And
don't eat them.
Well, no. They're friends. I mean, are they?
I mean, they're not sentient, but...
Well, gives the place a little bit more feeling of home.
If it helps, yeah.
And she gallops off.
Eli goes back to his Irish Romulan coffee.
Let's see. No, can't do that yet. All right. Anyone want to jump into anything before we go back to Club 42? Which is Daniel, who is now here.
I think he's still listening only right now.
Okie dokie. We go ahead and jump back over to Club 42, where Setsa's just starting to head off with a little to-go mug of juice. She's trying to be good and not drink too much.
Once she's left and the door shuts, one of the bar stools wiggles a little bit, and then kind of extends outward and slowly forms into a sharp-featured young Ibby man with spiky brown hair and glasses. He sits down on the bar stool next to him, and he just looks directly at Grimnir and says, "That crack about waterboarding almost made me laugh. She was so close to finding me."
Grimnir grins and says that I'm doing my job right.
I don't know. Something that will settle nerves. Give me some alcohol of some fashion. Please. Thank you.
Grimnir tilts his head, thinks for a second, and says, I've got just for what for you ails ye. And he reaches under the bar, pulls out a bottle, fills a mug, hands it to her, says, don't ask what it is, just drink it.
Well, here's to new experiences. And Kieran picks up the mug and just downs it. We are now on pause because of dog. Everyone likes dog. Dogs are good.
I was muted. Oopsies. Yeah, Nord has to run real quick to take care of Doggo. In the meantime, though, I did want to ask, this is a real booze going into holographic life form, correct?
Yes, I have been trying to brush that off and not have people worry about it, but if I have to techno-babble my way out of it, I will.
I mean, you can basically just explain it that there's a sensor that triggers an equivalent state of drunkenness given a certain amount of alcohol entering his system.
Well, there's that. I was also thinking of disposal. It could be kind of like a replicator system where it's simply converted into light energy.
Yeah, or, I mean, just transport it out later.
Point is, that was all stuff I didn't really want to cover, but...
It's Star Trek. We have to technobabble it.
What did I miss? I was gone like 5 seconds.
Kieran was just hiding from Setsa as a holographic imitation of a bar stool next to her.
Oh no.
So,
Why
he
oh
just,
no?
He just made comments.
Why not? Oh no.
It's oh yes, he managed to avoid her.
What?
Even though Grimnir very nearly made him laugh, and a laughing bar stool probably would have given itself away.
I don't know, Setsa might be one to overlook that.
I just heard something about alcohol and like that part. That's what I was confused about.
Oh,
I was just thinking
okay,
immediately.
yeah.
I think the impetus for the whole scene was just kind of, adventurer comes into a bar, looks at the bar, takes out a knife, stabs a knife into the bar. Bartender says, "Why do you do that?" Adventurer says, "Mimics." He laughs. The bartender laughs. The table laughs. We kill the table.
I mean, it's too late to make one of the tumbleweeds a changeling now.
Is it though?
Anyway, the point is that Kieran avoided Setsa, and then after ribbing Grimnir about nearly giving himself away, ordered something to take the edge off. Grimnir has provided him with something.
I just had a wacky
Technobabble.
idea. You'd use it as a
What?
weapon reserve.
Flamethrower.
Exactly.
You've heard of pocket
That can
sand.
work.
Here's pocket booze.
I mean, Kieran can actually work up something, if you really wanted to take the alcohol that his holographic body has ingested, route it to his arm, kind of like, a Spider-Man, web shooter, except then, aerosolize it, and then, have a little spark, and actually make a flamethrower out of that. In Star
Do it
Trek
from the
terms, that
mouth,
would
it's more
actually be
badass.
possible. I mean, mouth works too, but...
Become the dragon of the West.
I still like the idea that it's just, pocket alcohol. If sand in the eyes is bad enough, alcohol in the eyes got to be even worse.
I don't want to think about that. You ever get lemon juice in the eyes? It would be like
No,
that or
I've
worse.
never been in a situation where that might happen.
It's not fun.
It's not fun.
You just gotta avoid lemons your entire life. You're good.
I've not avoided lemons either. I have never been in a situation where a lemon is near my eye.
You don't
I
try to
kinda have.
squeeze a lemon and then it just goes wildly off course into your eye.
No.
You've never had fish and we're putting lemon on fish and the juice kind of goes sideways.
No.
Well, look
Apparently
at you.
I
You
know
should
how
buy
to
a
aim a
lottery
lemon.
ticket. Listen, I just eat lemons whole. That's not even a joke. My boyfriend gets weirded out at me when I do that.
I mean, it's food and it works. It's just kind of like any other fruit. So
I don't make a sour face. I am immune to lemon sour.
Anyway, the important thing is that in this episode, we've established that Kieran is his own game of prop hunt.
although I kind of want to have Graves has never actually had lemon before as an actual thing now.
Oh
You know what?
no.
Graves has never had a lemon.
Has he had a lime though?
I mean, the closest actually he probably would have come is lime in his drink, and then it comes the lime slices on the side of a drink, and he ate it once, and since then he has had an aversion to fruit mixed with drinks.
Well, what about pickle juice?
Pickle juice is
He
pretty
definitely
good.
would have avoided pickle juice.
I can't
He
work
would've
under
just-
this captain anymore.
You would have just imagined a slice of pickle lodged into the side of a glass. like a lemon.
I went
The
to a
whole
bar
big
out here once where they served like some shitty beer. I don't know. Most beer's shitty to me. I'm sorry, I know that's
I'm just
probably
wondering if
triggering
Brett-
Nord, but they put a pickle in it too. They just like they put a pickle in it. They called it a pickleback.
I wonder if like Nord doesn't know that we're kind of waiting for him right now, because we didn't post it in chat and we're just kind of screwing around.
But the real question is, have you ever had a pickled-tini?
No.
All right. So we can get back on to Reliant stuff. I mean, feel free to have this conversation. Just have this conversation in character. It's going to be fun.
This is all just bonus material.
Yeah.
Yep, it's being
You there,
included.
lucky
I mean,
viewer
yeah.
from Saudi Arabia that has yet to send us our Lamborghinis. This is for you.
I mean, what we could do is cut this out as special like bonus material for the latest episode and promote it on social media. Deleted scene. And it goes quiet.
I'm just busy thinking about, that the image I posted is exactly how I want Graves to treat a lemon the first time he encounters it.
Probably.
I'm just going to have Eli
DD, are
eat
you
an
in?
entire lemon.
Yes, I'm in. Is there anything I should know about that happened before Mary went feral for tumbleweeds?
No,
I
not
think
before that point.
I do think that's probably the most important thing that's happened so far.
Yes.
Understandable. Have a
Rick,
good
do you
day.
want to go back to engineering and LJ?
Yeah. So suddenly in engineering,
I'm still waiting to find out what happened to Kieran after he drank whatever the hell it was that Grimnir gave him.
Ah, yes. So what Grimnir gave Kara was
Kieran.
Oh! I thought it was Kara. Oh, that's
No.
even better. That's even better. He gave Kieran what's it called? Oh crap! Now I can't remember the name of it.
Tequila Sunrise?
No, it's non-alcoholic. It's what's that beer? The non-alcoholic beer you always see in the stores? Root
O'Doul's.
beer? Yes, O'Doul's. That's what it was.
Wow, non-alcoholic. That's cold.
Kieran takes it, downs the whole glass, looks at Grimnir, kind of has this look on his face like he's disgusted, and says, "Remind me never to ask you for anything again."
Duly noted.
meanwhile, we
we got
jumped down to
back down to
engineering.
engineering.
Yeah. Suddenly, there's a bit of a crushing noise. There's a bit of one of the tubes sort of falls out from its place. The rest of the engineering team look up to see one of the tumbleweeds sort of floating away as the tube with LJ, Rick's little lizard friend, sort of goes flying through the air and into a Jeffries tube that just happens to be open. Skittering is heard, and whenever the engineering team, let's say Nathan's there, and Nathaniel, as he checks, see just little LJ sprinting down the middle of the Jeffries tube much quicker than he can catch up with. Which he taps his comm badge and goes, Rick Tier, Nathan to Rick Tier. Rick Tier responds, yes, Nathan, what is it? Sort of fills in the situation. And Rick responds, alright, so you son, we've got LJ suddenly running around in the engineering tubes. Alright, I'll go see if we can have the transporter room try and connect to him and beam him back. Have to figure out a way to temporarily hold him while we make repairs. Apparently, though, as they try to do that, the transporter room cannot keep a lock on little LJ. And currently they don't have an ID why. So for now, things are just going a bit wrong.
Meanwhile, Mary, I need an additional roll from you regarding the tumbleweeds. Another insight security.
One success.
You find another tumbleweed. It is slowly rolling around the one of the corridors at the sort of the rim of the saucer, and just kind of like rolling along sort of the edge of the wall. Yeah, the edge of the floor.
Double blast. Pew pew.
Give me a control security.
2 successes.
You hit the tumbleweed with both stun blasts. As you do, though, it does release a little bit of a sort of a fine blue particulate. So give me a fitness medical roll. I'll spend 2 threat.
Oh.
So complication range 18.
I don't remember how to do that, so fuck it. 1 success.
You do not breathe in whatever has just been released. So you're free to go pick up the tumbleweed and beam it back to the biolab.
And she does so.
Can you also do an inside security check?
I thought almost all of her rolls are a 12. 2 successes.
So you hear this skittering of some tiny little claws as you look up to see what appears LJ to leap from somewhere in the vents up high, down just sort of like 10 meters away, a bit down the corridor and skittering away.
She thinks to herself, I should probably look into that, but that's not my job.
It kind of is, technically.
You try telling Mary that.
And Mary is free to go. Proceed on more tumbleweeds. Setsa, meanwhile, is on the hunt for Kara.
Kara's not hard to find. She's on the bridge.
Setsa arrives on the bridge. And she kind of looks around. The science station is taken. So she kind of just takes one of the auxiliary chairs next to the captain's chair. And she just looks at a data pad and just tries to kind of be innocuous, but not too innocuous. And she's just, hanging out there in the data pad, and then occasionally glancing over to Kara.
Kara kind of sighs and rolls her eyes and stands up and heads for the ready room.
Graves is actually in the ready room.
Kara turns and heads for the turbo lift.
Setsa just kind of feels like, should she just step up? Is she avoiding me? She gets a little worried look on her face.
Apparently, since Setsa cannot read the room, Kara gestures for Setsa to come join her.
She gives a little happy squee and hops up and heads to the turbo lift.
Kara closes the door, just looks at her. Okay, so nobody hangs out on the bridge for no reason. What do you need?
Well, a distraction so I don't keep bothering Kieran and Sabatu.
Well, we're on our way to Risa, so boy, have you come to the wrong place.
I mean, should be good. Like, I can, go do, orders and things.
So
but, for right now?
At this point, Kara just kind of goes over to the panel on the turbo lift, pulls up the what's new list on the ship and says, well, there's a bunch of escaped tumbleweeds. LJ's gotten loose in engineering. Huh.
There's also been reports of Sabatu peering around the openings to the Jeffries tubes.
Also, people have been giving reports of a very strange Ibby suddenly peering around corners or in and out of Jeffrey's tubes. I think we know who that is.
She's exploring.
And there's a report here that one of the bar stools in Club 42 is drunk.
Good for it.
So, does that give you any ideas for something to do?
Well, I mean, I can go console the bar stool, but something in me says that wouldn't be a great idea.
Yeah, that seems more like a job for a carpenter.
Yeah, I guess I can go, help with the tumbleweed hunt. But I was kind of hoping more for the, hangout time since I've been working a lot lately, but I guess I can go help.
Hey, someone's got to fly the ship. If you want to, you can hang out on the bridge, but there's not a lot going on up here.
Well, I might. It's just kind of nice to hang out a little bit. But, yeah, I'll check on you and Graves a little bit later, after the tumbleweed situation has been resolved.
Yeah, I don't ask questions anymore on this ship. And with that, she just presses a button to open the turbolift doors again and just walks out as if she'd been on a short trip with Setsa.
Setsa, meanwhile, goes and heads towards Deck 2 and a Jeffrey's Tubes hatch. Go hunt for tumbleweeds.
Well, if we're going to have Setsa looking for tumbleweeds, why don't we do how's she looking for the tumbleweeds?
I think she's right now just looking, not doing anything particularly scientific. All she's doing is basically going in and looking. So I think this would be an insight security.
I would actually call that a fitness science.
Okie dokie. So, fitness, science. Yeah, there we go. Not too bad. Do you want me to spend any threat?
No, just do your thing.
Okay, 2 successes for her.
She manages to trail several of the tumbleweeds. Unfortunately, she can't follow all of them. She must pick a tumbleweed to follow.
She tries to pick the largest tumbleweed.
She follows the
Maybe it's their
largest
leader.
tumbleweed.
Mary hears the additional thump in the in the Jeffrey's tubes of Setsa following a tumbleweed as quickly as she can.
Mary cautiously peeks into the Jeffrey's tube, looks around, sniffs. They will not escape me.
She proceeds to enter the Jeffrey's tubes if she wishes to continue the hunt.
Meanwhile, smash cut to another floor below, where 3 smaller tumbleweeds fall out onto an ensign. They're in the vents, man! They're in the vents! Game over, man!
Daniel.
Yes?
What is Daniel doing in his quarters?
Oh, Daniel is not in his quarters. He's in the Jeffrey's tubes near his quarters, mucking about with various kinds of high-powered cables running to certain locations for certain reasons.
Go ahead and give me a control engineering roll. I will spend 4 threat.
It might be a stretch, but would integrating technology count as a focus?
I would say yes. So, your engineering is now your critical range.
Alright, so I've tried rolling a couple times with R/R, and it said the application did not respond.
Yeah. Go ahead and try /D20.
Yep, that's what I've been using. No problems.
And then
with
just do the target. And we can manually read in complication and critical.
Same error for /D20.
What's your target range?
16, with an engineering of 4.
Okay, so I'm just going to try it. And I'm getting the same
Magel's
thing.
dead.
As.
Not my fault. I'll see if I can get it, find it and re-add it, kick it out.
You want me to roll some physical dice? I promise I've never lied about a dice roll in an RPG.
Says everyone who's ever lied about a dice roll in an RPG.
Nick, you can vouch for me. You know I've never lied about a dice roll in D&D.
I would vouch for you, but I have lied about a dice roll in D&D, so my ethics at best are sketchy.
Okay,
Damn
you never
it.
trusted your rolls again.
It was a joke. Nah, I'm kidding, it wasn't.
All right.
You're kidding, that was the
DB, what do you
domain.
got?
What?
Dice roll.
R or D20?
2d20.
Physical. I thought you were doing a... Yeah, it's 2d20.
No. I mean,
yeah.
like, which command should I use to try again?
You said you were going to do physical dice.
I'm just,
You're. I thought you were saying. I thought you said no to that. I'll go grab my dice. Give me a
No,
second.
we were... Go
Yeah,
ahead.
go for it. Like, if people want to actually roll physical dice, yeah, more power to them.
I'm in the middle
Oh,
of
I just keep
re-adding.
getting ones.
Oh, it's just the will of the gods.
Definitely not a way to die.
You cut to like a picture of just a regular D20, and then there's like a hunk of steel taped to the opposite side from the one.
All right. I ran downstairs, grabbed my dice bag, and I gotta pluck a couple D20s real quick.
Or else I could do this because I got D20s from Magic the Gathering stuff.
I will always be butthurt that when I moved from Idaho to North Carolina years ago, I somehow lost my dice bag. And
My dice bag.
I've never gotten around to replacing it.
My dice bag is just one of those velvet Captain Morgan bags.
What's funny is I've got a bag, I just don't have any dice.
Oh.
I'm just gonna
bunch
use
of
a
dice.
one-sided die.
But I think the only interesting dice I have are a pair of d6s that are just table denters.
All right. I've got my two D20s. I'm gonna roll them.
What'd you got?
Lost dice.
So that would be one success.
Well, what were the numbers?
What were your two numbers?
Oh, sorry. I was leaning away from that. I got a 19 and a 16. So that's one success, but I think also a complication because you added threat.
Yes, a complication. So you're able to, complete your task, but you also get a nasty electric shock, which causes Daniel to tumble back in the Jeffries tubes. And he sees just a shape just sort of dart over him. As he sort of tumbles back into like a three-way junction in the tube.
Daniel just kind of blinks for a second, sits up, and just kind of shakes his head, figuring whatever he saw was probably tied to checkers in some way.
At this point, Mary comes across Daniel.
She raises her phasers. Oh, you're not what I'm looking for. Have you seen any tumbleweeds come through here?
The tumbleweed? We're on a spaceship.
Yes. Why do you think I'm hunting them down?
We have tumbleweeds?
They're sentient and they're loose and we don't know what they're capable of.
We're just ready because they're not sentient.
Does this
Yeah,
have any,
somebody say they were, so...
Mary can say whatever the hell she wants, so that's the thing.
She can make them sentient.
So
She's
they're in the
just having
Jeffries
fun.
tubes. Does this have anything to do with checkers?
Checkers. Her eyes narrow and she looks to the closest Jeffries tube hatch. Give me a moment. She shoulders the phaser rifle. She goes over to a security panel, enters the super duper access code, opens it, and grabs a what's the Star Trek equivalent of a thermite detonator?
I mean,
Probably a photon
grenade.
Yeah, okay. She grabs a photon grenade. I'll flush them out.
Daniel's
Let's just say that, using them in the Jeffries tubes, they're going to be more concussion-based, not explosive. They're tied to not destroy the ship in times of not red alert.
Daniel scrambles to his feet and just goes, "Whoa, okay, hold on a minute. Let's just calm down a little here."
I am calm. Are you working with them? She starts to reach for her phaser again.
Oh, whoa! Daniel holds up his hands. I didn't even know there were tumbleweeds on spaceships until about 30 seconds ago.
That's what someone would say if they were in cahoots with them. Cahoots, I say! She sniffs. No. You're innocent. Clear the deck. Things are about to get messy.
Daniel just kind of looks for a second, blinks a couple times, and just asks, "So, why are you hunting them? I mean, they're tumbleweeds."
He gets this look of like pure, unadulterated, like determined hatred and anger, and then she grins, flips her ponytail, and says, "'Cause I'm bored." And she laughs and goes waltzing over to the Jeffrey's tube.
Okay. Just don't break the ship then, I guess.
Don't worry, I can fix it. As she dives head first into the Jeffrey's tube.
Daniel just kind of sighs, hangs his head a little, and follows behind to try to keep a lid on the situation, at least in some capacity.
Too late.
Rick, how is the search for LJ going?
LJ is keeping to very narrow areas. Members of the engineering crew have started to run through, but something about LJ just means I can't actually quite get them. Thing is, Kara, you hear a little scrabble as you're sitting on your desk. And as you look around, you see LJ sort of rest on the console. Like standing there for a moment.
Ari just kind of looks down, looks up. Eli's not on the bridge. Graves isn't on the bridge. Waitley isn't on the bridge. She is currently the ranking officer. She takes LJ over to the replicator and gets him a salad.
So she tries to pick LJ up.
Well, either that or she'll bring the salad back, one of the two.
Okay, give me a daring, I'll allow science on this one.
2 successes.
Alright, so, LJ starts to run off, but you're able to, with your knowledge of xenobiology, and just general sort of, well, if I'm going to spook it, it's probably going to start running ahead, that you're able to sort of preempt that and just sort of rub LJ as he's in the midst of running off and able to grab a little food. And for now, he seems to be enjoying his little salad.
She goes over with him to the captain's chair, just sets him and the food on the captain's chair, and she just kind of she looks down and look at me. You're the captain now. She salutes and goes to sit back down.
LJ does this little tongue flick, and it goes back to eating his food. Meanwhile,
satisfied with the chaos she is causing.
Meanwhile, a number of engineering crew have been trying to just keep up with what LJ's and sort of stumble out of the turbo lift to the back.
Oh, hey. You guys need something?
So one of them sort of pats him, shakes off some stuff, dust kind of thing, and straightens himself up, and he starts to look around, not seeing anything. Is LJ here? We just picked him up on the sensors.
No, it's just me, Moon, security tactical officer, science officer. The captain's here, of course.
Oh, alright, Captain, and we sort of salute, and we won't be in your way. Just give me a presence command check.
Just a second. Turns out I'd accidentally closed that window. Magil's dead again.
Do you want me to roll for you?
No, I got it. I got an 18 and a 3, so that would be one success, and if the GM spends threat, a complication.
That one success will be enough. They just sort of like start discussing themselves where LJ might have gone from the bridge and head back to the turbo lift.
After the doors close, Kara turns around to face the captain's chair and says, "Don't worry, sir. I've kept the mutiny under control."
Meanwhile, Sabatu in the turbolifts is crawling around and has found a very curious sight. She has found one of the beehives. She's reading a special plaque left by Checkers explaining why the beehives are there. By now includes a note from Starfleet regarding conservation of threatened species. It is now an approved scientific project on Reliant.
Who the hell approved this?
I'm gonna say Graves actually put in a request with the help of Setsa and has actually gotten the beehives officially authorized. You mentioned selling the honey though.
Good.
So is Checkers anywhere nearby?
He's deeper into the tubes at the pizza place. There's music coming from there.
She goes to investigate the music as Setsa is still on the hunt for tumbleweeds. So I'm going to have her do another fitness roll. One success. She's still pursuing the tumbleweeds.
She is going after the largest one. She has managed to close the distance. She is almost within grabbing range.
As she does, though, the tumbleweed kind of just comes to an end, and it just seems like there's more tumbleweed. She sees that the largest tumbleweed has melded into an even larger tumbleweed. She is now staring at a giant tumbleweed that has lodged itself in the Jeffries tube.
She has found the amalgam.
The giant tumbleweed starts rolling towards her.
And this is the point at which we cue the Indiana Jones music.
Setsa begins to crawl away.
No. It's my turn to play tag. It's not your turn yet.
And
I was about to say there's more rolling. Indiana Jones music intensifies.
No, that's 4 successes. So she's able to sort of keep pace. And before we go to break, I will give Mary an opportunity to see coming across a T intersection, Setsa go by, and then a giant tumbleweed.
Mary's eyes widen and her face splits into a grin. Now this is pod racing.
Well, hold on a second. At the risk of derailing everything, Daniel had a joke he wanted to do before everything got into it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
Before anyone can be seen exiting the Jeffries tubes, Daniel can be heard shouting after someone saying, "You do not need your grenades to be rocket-propelled. Hand-propelled is bad enough."
Charog.
Yes.
Charog. You hear that?
Lies and slander.
Do you go to investigate?
There's grenades involved, naturally.
All right, you find the nearest hatch to the Jeffries tubes and crawl in, seeing a giant tumbleweed chasing Setsa.
What the hell? A guy goes to brew his venom for 5 minutes, and the whole ship goes western. What the hell's going on?
Skipper is next to him and nods sagely.
Come on, Skipper. I heard about grenades. Let's go find the grenades.
AIDS!
She puts on a classic military-style helmet that she has for some reason. Skipper has been collecting helmets ever since the Koopa Troopa incident.
So Charog and Skipper are slowly making their way through the Jeffries tubes, looking for the grenades. Where'd they go? I heard grenades. Hey, who has grenades in here?
I don't think Mary can hear this because she's going through the Jeffries tubes.
Daniel shouts back through the tubes in the general set direction of the sound of Chorog, saying, "No one is going to be using grenades."
We'll see about that. Come on, Skipper. I think the grenades are this way. Chorog slowly starts following where Daniel's voice was heard from. Now they're mucking about with the grenades. They left me out. I'm going to be really mad.
Oh, I just realized I was muted. Okay, Chorog, give an insight security roll. Everyone else, I'm going to need fitness. Well, fitness, security.
Hey, finally a roll for Mary that's not a 12.
And I'm also going to spend 2 thread on this, just because... Actually, 3 thread. Just because I can.
Okay, so...
So the critical fail range is...
Complication.
The complication range,
Yeah.
The complication range is 17, you say?
Yes, I do say that, because especially as I'm seeing your roll.
Well.
I'm going to actually leave that complication up to you and how you could potentially mess up in your mind trying to chase after Mary, chasing after Giant Tumbleweed. For Chorog, you're able to pinpoint where they are pretty effectively. Mary, you're able to gain ground on the Tumbleweed. Setsa is starting to lose ground on the Tumbleweed. And DB, you're starting to fall a little bit behind Mary, and there's a complication.
Daniel is just trying to keep explosives from going off inside a spaceship. And so he just kind of like, since he can't keep up with Mary, as a last attempt, he dives for the hand that's holding a grenade, and instead of grabbing it, he accidentally like slaps it out of her hand in the direction of the tumbleweed.
It's a good one. You know what? Let's give the tumbleweed a roll.
Even Majo's like, the tumbleweed can't roll, Duncan.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go external dice roller.
It may not be sentient per se, but it has agency.
Alright. 2d20, target range 15. And 2 successes. So the tumbleweed is is not affected by the stun blast. But, for Mary and Daniel, give me either a fitness security or fitness medical roll to either dodge or just take the blast and press on. It's just a concussion slap, basically.
2 successes.
Mary pushes forward. And as we wait for Daniel, Setsa calls out,
Don't hurt it! It's just a tumbleweed! It's scared and confused!
Alright, 1 success for Daniel. Daniel, you just get a heavy slap from the concussion, but it's not enough to basically slow you down too much. And then for Mary, you just press on.
Mary is determinedly making her way. And now that she's lost her photon grenade, she readies her phaser rifles.
At this point, we cut over to Checker's Pizza Parlor? Pizza Alcove.
Yes.
Sabatu is happily munching some pizza. Basically, whatever Checkers has given her.
Give me a second.
Smarty Tardigrade and Hardy Tardigrade are also there. They're also munching pizza.
It is... Sorry, my boyfriend keeps talking, so I don't want to get him in there.
No worries.
It is a Euro pizza.
She is happily munching the Euro pizza.
It's got tzatziki sauce. It's delicious.
She has been raised in a fungal environment. This is very heavenly food. You may have just given Sabatu a new favorite.
Amazing.
You hear the commotion sort of go behind adjacent turbo lift. Or not turbo lift, Jeffrey's tube.
One of the checkers, the military checkers, he's gonna go check it out. He's got the gun.
You see the procession, principally sort of the tail end, or the tumbleweed, then Mary, and Mary, then Daniel, and then Chorog's coming up behind.
Checkers is following after Chorog.
All right. So let's go ahead and give everyone another fitness. Just everyone do a fitness security roll. I'm going to spend my last 2 threat.
Actually, I have to open up the drive. I wasn't expecting to roll today.
3 successes for Daniel.
2 successes for Setsa.
You
2
said
successes
fitness
for
security?
Chorog. Yeah, fitness security. Setsa's doing well here, considering that these are kind of her lower numbers.
2 successes for Mary.
All right, everyone's closing in on the tumbleweed. Setsa's gaining some ground, but she's getting concerned about how much more noise is behind her. Because it sounds more than just a tumbleweed at this point. She kind of knows from the shouting that others are involved.
We don't need explosives for a plant.
Checkers is humming very loudly the Indiana Jones theme.
Setsa at this point is starting to think like, okay, I gotta try to solve the situation being in the lead. So, let's see. So she kind of like jukes to the side and tries to lead the tumbleweed into a larger room. On success, she's able to juke to the side, and tumbleweed follows. So they're starting to emerge into a larger room, one of the cargo bays.
Does Mary have a clear line of sight yet?
As they're going to the side, no. So they've just sort of gone over to the left through another junction.
She follows.
Everyone else follow?
Daniel is gaining on Mary.
Yep.
All right.
Chorog is yelling at Daniel. Some plants you need explosives.
So they all emerge into the cargo bay. And, let's see. Setsa tries to grab the tumbleweed and sort of shove it aside and says to it softly,
Alright, now after you. Now, I'm in this with you, alright? We're friends, okay? And, we're gonna get through this. We just need to calm them down. Yeah.
So she sort of like pulls the tumbleweed over to a side alcove behind a bunch of crates and calls out,
Alright. Now, I know things are tense. Let's just talk this out, okay? I'll be negotiating on behalf of the tumbleweed.
Wait, was that addressed to all of us?
Yeah, all of you guys. So Setsa has just yelled out for basically playing negotiator on behalf of the non-sentient tumbleweed.
Daniel just shouts into the room. I don't even know why we're chasing it. Why?
It's scared and is running and needs to go back into its home so it can be, disintegrated or not disintegrated. It can go back to being a bunch of little tumbleweeds instead of one big one.
And at this point, more tumbleweeds are starting to come in and sort of like merge with the prime tumbleweed. Started like filtering, like little tumbleweeds are filtering in through Jeffrey's tubes and environmental ducts.
All right. So, Mary's gonna try something.
Is Mary gonna try?
Mary's going to try shooting the tumbleweed as soon as she has eyes on it.
So at this point, are you gonna sort of like be edging around trying to...
Yep. And she is going to use a value and a focus to do this.
All right.
Her value is I do what I want, and her focus is tactics.
Okay. That would be an automatic crit for using the spending your point of determination. And then you're going to basically do, with your focus roll, let's go with either daring or control security, depending on how Mary's approaching it. Like, doing a lunging, shooty dive, or just taking a very precise shot. But go ahead and give me a
very precise shot.
Okay, so give me a control security with an elevated critical range.
And what's it elevated to?
Whatever your security value is.
Crap, I can never remember how to do this. So,
I mean, just basically roll for your target, but yeah, and then we'll just read off your
Okay. Ooh.
I wish I had threat.
Yeah, that's the worst roll of the night.
I mean, I could try and intervene as Daniel, because
Go for it.
okay, Daniel.
So 3 successes. Yeah. So you got 3 successes coming in for Mary here.
Daniel sees Mary like about to blast, and just kind of tries to knock the aim off. Just say, "What's the matter with you?" What do I roll?
Pumpkin.
Hello.
You muted.
Oh crap! Yeah, I'm muted because my air conditioner keeps popping off during security roll. Are you doing that? Let me just turn off my AC.
Would sleight of hand work as a focus to?
I can't answer for him, but I would say not.
Okay, it was a long shot, but it's worth asking.
Okay, I'm back.
Daniel wants to know if sleight of hand can work for this.
No, I'm gonna say like with this like no dive.
It wouldn't have done.
All right,
anything
one success.
Anyway. I have 2 security.
No, so basically you try to intervene, but Mary gets the shot off before you can, and she zaps the tumbleweed as it's sort of like combining with more of these alien tumbleweeds, and there is a massive plume of blue particulate. Everyone, give me a medical fitness roll.
1 success for Mary.
We'll say this is also going to be difficulty 2. Difficulty 2 as well.
Checkers is here, and he has a 9 to roll. This is going to be great.
I'm just trying to find such
Called
a
it.
sheet again. Just a sec. Oh crap! I thought Set's medical score was higher in this.
What does the difficulty 2 mean?
Means you need 2
basically,
successes.
Yep.
Very good. Well, Daniel was always susceptible to mind-altering substances anyway.
Since everyone in the room got a 1 except for Setsa, so as the particulate bloom bursts forth, and everyone's more or less gets a good whiff of spores. Setsa, meanwhile, has her advanced environmental implant, and is completely unfazed by this, except for getting a little bit of a slight buzz. But everyone starts seeing things.
What kind of things?
Colors and shapes and strange things about you. Yeah, everything's just sort of getting nice and fun. It's a good trip.
Does Daniel see anything of particular interest in these visions?
It depends on what Daniel envisions. You've got just, again, everything is just nice. The colors are swirling. I mean, there's shapes there. It's just up to your mind to, grapple with what this could mean.
I want to add something just for Mary. Her vision involves like little LJs sort of like moving forward and splitting off into new LJs, and then just sort of this infinite regression of sort of like stop motion. Every time they split, the original one stops moving, and it just sort of is like a wave of LJ sort of just runs over her.
Mary is just standing there, phaser rifle in each hand. She's just looking around like, odd, I don't remember drinking any skooma.
Chorog.
Chorog's standing there. The particulates are so fine it gets through his filter mask. He's just standing there looking around. Why is it green in here? It tastes green in here.
Sets is just looking across the group.
Daniel just kind of like scans the room, takes in all of his good buddies, and goes on a merry jaunt into the tubes.
If you're going to do it like a merry jaunt, the tubes you have to crawl through. So give me a control engineering roll to see if you can even perceive the space and move your body accordingly. And the tumbleweed at this point, I mean, it's mostly disintegrating. You have basically reached a state of its reproduction where the tumbleweeds were aggregating, mixing their DNA, mixing their gametes before going poof in a big cluster, and Mary has given it more energy to do so. Daniel, you find the Jeffrey's tube. The Jeffrey's tube looks like it's like this infinite passage into the void, and it's swirling and turning into a spiral shape, and you just tumble back. That's a calls out.
Well, that happened, and tumbleweed is kind of just everywhere, and I think I should call the captain.
Darkness lies in the space between. We must travel through the cracks of light. And Daniel instead starts walking down just the main corridor.
Skipper nods sagely at that and Spore jumps somewhere in response. Daniel, you first have to cross the cargo bay. So go ahead and give me another engineering fitness roll.
Wait, you said another. Am I doing engineering fitness or control fitness?
Oh yeah, control.
I mean control engineering. Sorry, not control.
Yeah, control engineering.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're having to work out the physical space, and it keeps shifting and swirling and becoming part of the colors.
I've maxed out my control. Dang it, I should be good at these.
But Daniel, he's stumbling around it, enjoying the colors. And at this point, Setsa goes ahead and calls down to the medical bay.
Setsa to Dr. O'Connor.
O'Connor here?
We're in one of the cargo bays on deck 4, or I think we're on deck 4. And, yeah, so, you know those tumbleweeds?
Yes, the one Zach let out. Yeah, what up?
Yeah, so apparently they were, going through a reproductive cycle, and, they've ejected their spores, and we had a lot of people chasing them.
They don't make spores.
And it looks particulate hallucinogenic things.
Yeah, that only comes up if you start, hitting them with a or burning them. What happened?
Mary hit it.
Oh.
So,
well, I don't have anything to lessen the hallucination, so...
Okay, well, should we... we got, 4 people here who are stumbling around. So, anything to do, or do I just have to watch them?
I'll use the medical transporter to just send them to quarters.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, this
You're
is gonna
welcome.
be fun.
Meanwhile, Trogs just starts wandering off in an odd direction, grasping at something that's not there. This is the fluffy flying targs. And just wanders out of the cargo bay.
Waitley.
Yes?
Either is Waitley anywhere in the vicinity?
No, he's probably in his quarters, studying.
Does he get any mental images from what's happening to the hallucinations or hallucinating crew members?
He probably knows exactly what's going on. He's just not interested.
Okie dokie. Alright, so with that, Eli, you're able to pretty efficiently use the medical transporters to send everyone to quarters and set up appropriate containment measures so they don't wander off.
Except Mary.
Except Mary. Mary, for some reason, is elusive on the transporter system. Setsa is nearby and can facilitate, or keep an eye.
Alright, that's odd. We're going to report that to engineering.
All right, so everyone except Mary and Setsa are beamed away, and Setsa is gathering up some of the residual little tumbleweeds and sending them back to the medical bay, or the biolab. She goes over to Mary and says,
Mary.
Yes.
You need to sit down?
Why would I need to sit down? She's,
Eh,
doing maintenance on the phaser rifles and discharging them and, all that, getting ready to put them back into the security panel or whatever it's called.
So you're not seeing like fluffy targs or the void, are you?
Oh, I totally am.
Okay. Just, making sure in case you need any help.
The advantage, she stops. Oh, wait. Crap. She's actually saying this. Let's just say me and reality already have a very interesting relationship.
Sesha just nods at that, just completely taking it at face value.
Mary nods. Carry on. And she proceeds to leave the Jeffries tubes and heads back to the security panel where she took the phasers from.
Setsa engages the local environmental systems in the engineering bay to scrub out the residual hallucinogenic particulate, and heads to her quarters to shower off and basically get dressed in something that hasn't been contaminated by hallucinogenic spores, just in case that has any residual effects on crew members. Back in her quarters, though, Nala takes a good sniff. Ogo is curious about the spores, but does not get enough to see things. He just smells funny. And with that,
can I do a little bit on the bridge?
Yeah, I was going to get to you. So, what is happening at the bridge?
Okay, so, having finished off the salad, LJ has managed to flip the salad bowl on top of his head. So, there is an upside down salad bowl on the captain's chair right now. As Graves gets a call on his comm badge from Rick Tier. Rick Tier to Captain.
Graves here.
We may, I'm not sure if you've been updated regarding, LJ is currently missing. We've had him tracked on sensors, seems to be on the bridge, but apparently you're there and there's been no signs of LJ on the bridge, so I'm not sure if the sensors need recalibrating or something's wrong there.
Graves he steps out of his ready room, looks around the bridge and notices the salad bowl on his
looks over.
chair and says,
Oh, hi, Graves.
Hey, so just throwing this out there, do our salad bowls block sensors in any way?
No, that's just the captain's new hat.
Captain?
Yeah, well, I was in charge. You weren't here. Eli wasn't here. Whately wasn't here. So we got a new captain.
Bryce just glares from over at the tactical station. He's
to the
on
extent that he
chain
can
above
stare.
cover.
He can glare.
He just let it happen.
I was figuring he was going to be in his office. Yeah, I was going to figure he was in his office, but...
No, this is
there you
funnier.
go.
He just let it happen.
The android wants to have a little fun, too. So Graves says on the comms, still open with Rick. I do believe that LJ has been serving his acting captain.
Well, that would actually make sense. We have been receiving signal, but apparently there was the captain already there on the bridge, and there was no... I'm not really sure what to do about it, but if you could get LJ, we have repaired his little facility, and it's time for him to come back.
All right, well, he's up here if you want to go grab him. He's just vibing on my chair right now.
All right, I'll be up there shortly.
So Rick is able to head up and basically is able to go collect LJ.
Yep. There's just a little like tongue lick as well as he scoops it up. This time LJ doesn't actually try and run away or move. He just sort of like stays there and actually rests on his shoulder. Does the
Lizard Daddy has come.
Yeah.
Kara turns around and salutes and just says, "It's been an honor, Captain."
Graves salutes as well.
You can see there is some slight movement, like of the head, and followed by a tongue lick. You're not sure quite if that means anything.
Graves looks to Kara and says, if he's acting captain, that would have been reported in the ship log.
Kara makes it so.
Graves nods and, just to make sure that there's no messes in the chair and, basically just sits down. And, resumes his regular captaining. While, Daniel has escaped his quarters and is now roaming the ship. High on hallucinogenic tumbleweed. And see the camera pans out, just kind of zooming out from a window where Daniel is staggering around. And we see the Reliant in warp going through space. And that is the end of the primary episode. I thank you for joining us tonight, and if anyone has any last-minute scenes, we will go ahead and cover those.
I got one.
Oh, for it.
Daniel is wandering the ship. He's vibe checking the crew. He comes across Mary as she's putting everything back in that security panel that she got the phasers and all that from, making a note of the misplaced photon grenade. He sees her, and she's the only one that isn't emitting any weird vibes.
Daniel stops, strokes his beard, ponders for a moment, and approaches the one whose vibe is unknown to all.
She notices him. She glances over and says, "You all right there?"
Are you?
Am I? Am I what?
You do not seem to have a visual aura like I and the rest of the crew today.
Yeah, them hallucinogens are kind of wild. Who knows what they'll do? But you want to see something really neat? She smiles and then she boops him on the nose, and then everything turns into just this wild kaleidoscope of butterflies. And when he can see through them all again, she's not there anymore.
Daniel strokes his beard again and just goes, very interesting. And wanders back to his quarters to ponder these observations.
I will add one note here for Checkers. Checkers has been no stranger to unusual compounds and chemicals. So even while he was hallucinating, if you want to collect samples...
Nah, he's just gone back to making pizza.
Okie dokie.
Visa time.
All the baby tardigrades are now there, and we're sitting around with Sabato, and they're all just enjoying pizza. Although when Chorog returns to his quarters, Skipper has actually delivered him off a plushy Targ. It's very floopy.
I'm just imagining it like one of those glowworm toys. You hug it and the middle lights up.
Trog stumbles back into his quarters, high as a kite on tumbleweed juice. Sees the plushy Targ like, "There you are, I've been looking all over for you." The door closes, and 5 minutes later, Chorog, a fearsome Nausicaan pirate, is now sitting cross-legged on the floor wearing a tie-dye shirt he replicated, staring intently into a lava lamp with the plushy Targ on his lap. Just watch. The man in the lamp will tell you cool things.
Indeed. Any other final scenes? Actually, one quick question for Kara. Is Kieran still in Club 42?
Probably. He's been safe there the entire time. He's probably just not ordering any more drinks from Grimnir.
Setsu walks into Club 42.
There is a loud curse.
That's it's not that unexpected with a bunch of games and things around there. So she just starts to head over to the bar, not really reading through a data pad, just on her way, and heading to a bar stools.
We're gonna need a let's call it an insight science roll from Setsa.
2 successes.
Yeah, she catches out of the corner of her eyes Kieran shifting form into a bar stool.
She smirks and considers one. All right, good night, Charg. We'll be done here in just a sec.
Night.
Setsa considers one, have fun, and take that bar stool, or 2, just go to one of the tables and leave him be.
Eli entered the bar.
Eli has entered the bar.
He goes and sits on the bar stool, unknowing of its true nature.
Setsa shrugs and heads over to the over to one of the booths.
The bar stool holds up under Eli's weight. It is comfortable.
Grimnir, feeling hungry with whatever would I get to drink?
Grimnir thinks for a second, nods, says, I've got just the thing for you. He goes over to the replicator, punches in a code, and he puts a plate of haggis down in front of him.
Oh, sweet, I love haggis.
Bunch
Can I
of
get a
food.
side of baked beans?
Sure. Punches another code into the replicator, hands it over.
Alright, Eli has his meal, whatever drink he gets.
And before violence is done, let's go ahead and close out with Daniel.
Daniel, having made it back to his quarters, was pondering his observations and absent-mindedly tinkering with things. And eventually, when the effects of the tumbleweed wears off, Daniel just kind of looks down at his work table and what he's holding in his hands at this strange contraption that he built and doesn't remember building, and just has no idea what it is, and just looks at it in confusion and just tries to figure out what the heck it does.
Dun, dun, dun. That. Do you want to figure out what it does tonight, or just leave it there?
I mean, do you want to use it as a plot device, or do you want to just or is it just, do you have something in mind right now as just a fun thing?
Not right now, so let's go ahead and leave him to his experimentations.
Okay. Yeah, it can be a thing later. Or it could just be a fun little joke of what the heck did I do while I was last night kind of thing. I don't know. It can be whatever it wants to be.
We shall see. So, again, thank you for joining us tonight. And if you want to get in touch with us, our email is reliant@starbasegc.com. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with our Risa episode. Yay!